Hello dear students and welcome to EduTap. So guys, we are back with another session for um, Descriptive English for SEBI Grade A. And guys, we covered essay writing day before yesterday. I think we took up essay writing yesterday and today we'll be discussing reading comprehension. So guys, if I'm audible to everyone, if the stream is alright, just type yes in the chat box and do let me know any last minute uh, any last minute help you require or anything else that you are if any doubt that you have, please, today is the last day to do that. Otherwise it's I think it's high time. Hello Akash, hello Gaurav ji, how are you? All right, Karthik, yes, I'm audible. All right, Vishweshwar, hello Nilesh, um, hi Shivansh. Yes, Vishweshwar, essay data is to be written in numericals. Yes. Hi Javed. Hello, hello Lina. Guys, if you have any doubts or any queries, please feel free to ask and then we'll begin the session. Hello Preet. Hello Gurveen. Hello Javed. All right. So guys, any doubts, any queries if you have? Shall we begin with the session? Hello Biplab. Good evening Ashu. Hello Shagun. Yes, Nikhil, today's session is for reading comprehension. Hello Yugant. Hello Shagun. Yes guys, shall we begin? Hello Rahul. How good is using quote in beginning of an essay? It's quite poor, Ankit. You should not use quotations at the beginning of essays or at the conclusion of essays. It should be fact-based, not notion-based. Hello, Harshal. Please straight it to session. All right, Karthik, very well done. Hello, Shashank. You are afraid of writing an answer. Answer for which question, Akhilesh? 5 RC question. What is reasonable words for each question? Yes, Jeremy. So guys, I'll give you a simple strategy for that. For 1 marks, you have to write 10 words. So for 1 marks, you have to write 10 words. So if it's an 8 mark answer, you have to write around 80 words. If it's a 10 mark answer, you have to write 100 words. If it's a 5 mark answer, you have to write around 50 words. So it's a simple trick to this is for reading comprehension, guys. So many students face this dilemma, sir, how much should we write? Because there is no particular word limit given for the answers. So basically, guys, what is actually required is an equivalent of the weightage. For 10 marks, if you write only 5 sentences, he'll be compelled not to give you 8 out of 10, right? So at least write elaboration. At least elaborate your answers, guys. Got it? So got it, Shivansh? Length of the answer. Alok Palji, don't worry, everything will work out. Hello, Shiv Charan. For essay, but couldn't able to write. Just okay, Akhilesh, have you watched the video, the session that I took day before yesterday? In that session, I told you you don't need English. You only need facts and data to prepare your essay. And we gave some sample essays, so you can watch that session. That will be really helpful for you, Akhilesh. Got it? What will be the tolerance limit on word limit? For essay, 10% above and below, Vivin. For Prezi, you cannot exceed 150 words or whatever the word limit there will be. In reading comprehension, I've given you a simple trick to understand. Got it? What tagline can we use it? No tagline, no quotations. Abhinav, start with the data or a fact. RBI FM and ESI. Oh, Akhilesh, there I cannot help you. Yaar. In RBI and FM, please ask your concerned teacher. I can only tell you about English. Yes, Akash, it can be written in points, but only if required. Don't just forcefully write everything into bullet points. Write it only if it is required. For example, if the question asks what are the measures taken by the government, and let's say you have to write 6 or 7 measures which are discussed, which have been discussed in this particular session. Which have been given in the particular premises. So you have to be very careful that you do not make bullet points without any, without the necessity of it. Got it? So only make points if it is required. NABARD means got poor marks 16 English. How much marks is considered good? The highest marks Biplab is 79. So that's also one of my student Biplab. And in NABARD, I'm talking about NABARD, he has scored 79. So I think 75 was a good score in that paper. Yes, but not everything should be written in points, Rahul, unless it is required. Okay. Thank you, Gurveen Kaur. Thank you so much for the kind words. You can write point-wise, Harshal, but only if required. Don't forcefully make it into points. Got it? Let's say if he has given a question, discuss the scenario or discuss the situation Indian economy is in. Now you should not put that answer into a bullet points, but if he has given something or such a question which requires bullet points or numbering, for example, discuss different measures taken by the government, then you can make bullet points. So guys, my advice would be, unless it is required, do not make bullet points, but if the question demands for it, then do not hesitate to make bullet points. Got it? They won't ask you to interpret anything, or analytic based question won't be asked UPSC. There are two types of questions asked. One is inference based. Whatever is given in the passage, they may ask you to infer, the answer from that particular statement. Or the other is fact based, data based. Whatever information is given in the passage, you'll have to rephrase that information in your own words. So it's not analytic based or interpretation. A bit of interpretation is required, honestly, but it won't be based on analytics. Okay. All right. No, you cannot write anything from your own side, Nikhil. Please do remember that. मानसी अभी भी ऐसे के क्वेश्चन पूछ रहे हो. 400 वर्ड्स नहीं लिखने हैं मानसी, 250 वर्ड्स का ऐसे आएगा. ऐसे विल बी फॉर 250 वर्ड्स और एट द मैक्स 300 वर्ड्स. 400 वर्ड्स का ऐसे 20 मिनट में लिखा जा ही नहीं सकता यार. और yes, there will be choices, Alok Pal, so you can expect one or two essays based on economy or finance. Crypto से related भी आ सकता है. Yes, don't be, worry will not get you anywhere, Biplab. Can you provide his essay or précis that he has given for re-evaluation when he was enrolled? Who was enrolled, Harshal Mehta? Can we write short and concise answers without much explaining? Yes, Rahul. If you do not, for 10 marks or for 8 marks, if you only write 2 sentences, do not expect him to give you 7 or 6 marks out for 2 sentences. Basically, guys, we need to understand the psychology behind the question, right? So, guys, I think that's enough questions for now. Let's start the session, and let's see how we can work towards all the questions. Then I think I've given you the basic questions. Whatever doubts you have, that will be cleared during the session. And if you still have any questions, you can ask me after the session, guys. So guys, let's begin the session. This is preparation strategy for phase 2 for SEBI. right? All right, guys. So let's start with some tips and tricks to start preparing for your comprehension. So guys, there's a very good trick that I've always shared with my students. That's what we call reverse reading. I think many of you must have heard about it. We have been taking up reading comprehensions since we were in school, since we were quite young. But usually we have seen multiple choice questions based on reading comprehension. Elaboration was we never found elaboration usually based on your comprehension passages. But this time, what they are looking for is elaboration. So, guys, there is a point of calling it a descriptive English paper. Now, guys, the first question that comes to my mind is why is he asking you to write a précis on the same passage on which he has already asked you to write reading comprehension answers, and vice versa, guys. So, guys, you have to understand the psychology behind the evaluator's mind, the psychology of evaluator. The point of asking a précis and reading comprehension on the same passages. In précis, they're looking for contraction skills, how well you can contract your passage within 150 words. And reading comprehension is about elaboration, guys. And I think that is why he has increased the mark weightage this time for reading comprehension. Usually, up till last time, there used to be 3 questions for 30 marks. That means 1 question for 10 marks, right? But a certain word limit was never there for reading comprehension. So, a student has to, self-judge that how many words to write there. But now I think a more focus or more emphasis will be given to reading comprehension. Reason being because the weightage this time is 40 marks, and I think he's going to give you at least 4 or 5 questions. So basically, guys, there is something that we call reverse reading. That is a very good trick to solve your passage, to comprehend your passage, and to solve your answers. So what is reverse reading, guys? Before you start reading the passage, read the questions based on the passage before reading the passage. Now it gives you, you know, it has 2 benefits, guys. Now, number one, it will give you the central idea or central theme of the passage. Correct. And second, you will get the keywords to look for in the exam. I'll explain to you how, guys. Now listen carefully, guys. For example, I'm giving you 5 questions. Now, first listen to these questions very carefully and then try to figure out what would be the central theme of the passage. So question number 1 is, what is the main cause of conflict between the farmers and the government on the recently amended farm laws? So question number 1 is, what is the real reason of conflict between the farmers and the government on the recently amended farm laws? Question number 2, what is the argument of the government regarding the amendment of laws? Question number 3, what is the cause of concern among the farmers regarding the recently amended farm laws? Question number 4, what role has MSP played in Indian agriculture in the recent times? And question number 5, what is the author's purpose of writing this passage? So let's say, guys, he has given you these 5 questions, right? So can anybody tell me, after listening to the questions, what would be the central theme of the passage, and what do you think that would have happened in the whole passage? So could you give me the central theme, any of you guys? Yes, guys, let's see who heard the questions carefully. I think you must have heard about this trick, many times, but you never knew how important it is or how to use this trick, what we call reverse reading, right? So, guys, I've given you the questions. Can you tell me the central theme of the whole passage? Aditi, we are not discussing essays. Please don't, don't. All right, what do I say? You should not use anecdotes in essay, Aditi, but you should use good vocabulary words. Pui says farm law, agricultural reforms, farm bills amendment, very good. Farm laws, amendment, farm laws, impact on stakeholders, very good, Yugant. Farm bill, new agricultural acts and their impacts on farmers, very good. Decoding the intention of all stakeholders in the farm laws, very good, Karthik. No, Aditi, you should not start your essay with an anecdote. I answered your question, I think. Farm laws amendment, very good. So you've got the central theme, guys. Very well done. So, guys, this is what you understand after you read the questions carefully. So, guys, this is a very good trick to follow. When you start, before you start reading your passage, read the questions carefully. So it will help you in two ways. It will give you the central theme. So now you can expect what is going to be there in the passage. It will not be, it will not be a surprise for you as you read. Now you have, some vague idea of the passage in your head, right? And the second advantage it will give you is the keywords. So guys, what do I mean by keywords now? Don't just read the questions and forget them. Try to remember keywords from the passage, guys. Try to remember the keywords from the questions. For example, question number 1 was, what was the main cause of conflict, right, between the farmers and the government? So what I did was I noted this down. Cause of conflict between farmers and government. So I just put down the keywords on my rough paper. Second, what was the argument given by the government? So I put down the keyword government's argument, that how would these laws benefit the farmers. Farmers concern. Third question was about farmers concern, right? So I am putting down my keywords as I read the question. Question number 4, role of MSP, right? And fifth was the purpose of author to write this passage. So guys, basically what I did was I quickly wrote down the keywords. Now as I'll start reading my passage, now basically what happens is, if you know what the passage holds inside it and if you remember the keywords, so as I'm reading my passage, wherever I find the reason of conflict between the farmers and the government, I'll see that okay, this is my answer. So I'll put it down on my rough in my rough sheet. That answer for question number 1 is in paragraph number 2. So second paragraph. So that's a keyword for me. So I read further. Then I found the answer for question number 3, farmers concern. So that was in third paragraph. Then in the next paragraph I found answer for question number 2. That was in the fourth paragraph, right? Then role of MSP, that was given in somewhere in the fifth paragraph. And the purpose of author to write this passage was given in the first and the last paragraph. So that was clear from these two paragraphs what was the author's purpose to write this passage. So guys, this will help you to save your time. You know why? Because unless you read questions before you read the passage, right, what's going to happen? You'll reread the passage over and over again. Why? Because without reading the questions first, if you start reading the passage, it is like a story to you now, right? You're reading everything for the first time. You have no idea what's going to happen in the next paragraph or what's going to be discussed in the next line, right? But if you have already read the questions and if you have the keywords in your mind, you have a very good idea about the passage, that what it is going to be about. And second, you know the keywords. So as you are reading, it is not a story for you now. Now it becomes a mission for you now. Now you know what you have to find. You know what to look for. And when you do that, it becomes very easy to find the answers as you go. So basically what happens, guys, what usually students do, they start reading the passage without reading the questions. They read the whole passage very carefully, and then when they come to the question, okay, what was the cause of conflict between the farmers and the government? So they think, okay, I think the answer was this, but let me reconfirm it. So it's a habit that we go back to the passage and then we reconfirm our answer. Then we look at question number 2. Then we go to the passage again and we find out the answer and we reconfirm it. So if you are doing this, you are reading passage for more than 5 times. That is a wastage of time. So your aim should be to find out all the answers in one go, in the first reading. So you should not spend a lot of time, rereading the passage over and over again. So basically, I told you, for Madhu, for 1 mark you have to write 10 words, right? So basically this is a very good strategy to save your time. Number one, to be prepared for whatever you are going to face in your passage. And number three, you know the keywords to look for, right? So it becomes very easy for you to find the answers in the passage. So guys, this is what I wanted to share with you, that if you have not tried this up till now, try this. It will give you a better outlook towards your passage and it will give you a lot more confidence to find your answers in reading comprehension. So guys, the first trick that I wanted to discuss with you is reverse reading. Got it? So reverse reading, what I mean by reverse reading is basically you have to read the questions before reading the passage, so that you get a vague idea about, you find the central theme of the passage before you read the passage, and you find out the keywords that you have to look for in the passage. So now it becomes not just a story, it becomes a mission for you, right guys? Krupa, I think you should start with, I still believe you should start with essay. Quickly be done with your essay within 17 to 18 minutes, and then spend rest of the 42 minutes for your Pressy and reading comprehension, because that is the big chunk. Sammy, I made this rule. If you really want to follow this, that's your call. Otherwise, you're more than welcome to do as you wish. But as an evaluator, what I would see, that if I've given 3 questions for 30 marks, that means one question would be for 10 marks. And for 10 marks, if you write only 10 words or 20 words, I'll not be convinced to give you 8 marks out of 10. Do you agree with me, Sammy? So it's not a rule. I'm just giving you a simple idea. That's how many words are enough for a reading comprehension answer. So multiply it by the word weightage. Also the mark weightage of the question. If it's an 8-mark answer, write 80 words. If it's a 5-mark answer, write 50 words. If it's a 10-mark answer, write 100 words. That's why they call it descriptive English paper, Sammy. Got it? Now you can do that, if you do the RC first, but I'm just skeptical. Why? Because I do not want you to be stuck in that situation where you started with your reading comprehension and unfortunately the comprehension and the questions were really difficult, and it took you 45 minutes, let's say, to finish your Pressy and reading comprehension. In the last 15 minutes, under pressure, you will not be able to put down your essay for 250 words. But if you are done with your essay within 15 to 17 words or 15 to 17 minutes, initial 15 to 17 or 18 minutes, then you will have a peace of mind that, okay, I'm done with one big chunk, 30 marks. Now I have to focus absolutely on my reading comprehension. And if you are running out of time while answering your reading comprehension, I think you can manage your pace. You can use bullet points. You can, quickly mark down your answers. So you can manage your speed in your reading comprehension, but I don't think you can do it in your essay, ma'am. That's why I say essay first and then reading comprehension and then Pressy. That should be a sequence, guys. That's what I told you, Akash. Essay first, then reading comprehension, then Pressy. Same passage, Rishabh. There'll be only one passage. Yes, obviously they'll evaluate it manually. How will they judge the content of the student if they are going to evaluate it in through a software? Jeremy, that's not possible here. I think you can expect 5 questions, Pooja, for 40 marks. Absolutely, Bhavna. Why do you think they call it descriptive English? If they wanted you to find, if they wanted you to find the facts from the passage, wouldn't they have just given you multiple choice questions, Bhavna? If they wanted to see if you can find the facts or data from the passage, wouldn't they have just thrown multiple choice questions at you? Let's say 15 multiple choice questions. But rather than that, they are giving you 3 or 5 questions. So that means elaboration. Got it? I think it should be reading comprehension first, Shivcharan, and Pressy later on. Because by the time you are done with your reading comprehension answers, in your head you will already be prepared for your Pressy. Because you would have already written everything elaboratively in your reading comprehension. So your RC would already be present in your mind before you started. So that's why I say reading comprehension first and Pressy later. I think you understand what I mean. Around 80 words for each question. Yes. So guys, first trick is reverse reading. Now, while you are reading the questions, now mark the keywords in the questions and memorize them. Right? You have to memorize them, otherwise you won't be able to find your answers in the passage. Try to recognize the main idea of the passage. We've discussed that, right? You should know what to look for, what answer, where to look for in your passage. That you should know about that. So don't just read and exactly try to find the exact words from the questions, but look around. That look what he's telling you, and if it is relevant for your answer or not. While reading the passage, look for the keywords marked in the questions. So look for the keywords obviously that are marked in the questions. Avoid getting stuck anywhere while reading the passage. That is also important, guys. If you're stuck with one word, don't get stuck there. Just read ahead and you will find the meaning from the theme or from the tone of the author. So you will understand what was given there, and mark the important points of each paragraph as you go. This is really important, guys. RC help for Pressy, absolutely, Pooja, it does. Yes, I will entertain now, guys. Any other doubt I'll take at the end of the session. So please keep your queries, whosoever has joined late. So I'll take the rest of the question at the end of the session. Let's continue the session. Let's practice some RCs and let's see what type of answers are they expecting out of you. Aarti, I'll take rest of the question at the end of the session. Pui, I have answered your question again and again. Yes, there will be word counter. I don't know if you're listening to me carefully or not. So I'll answer rest of the questions at the end of the session, guys. Got it? Now, guys, when you are reading the passage, guys, basically there'll be a passage which will be given to you right on the screen, and you will be given questions below that passage, and under those questions there'll be dialog box where you'll have to write your answer. So guys, make sure that in your rough paper, when you read the passage as you go along, make sure that you mark down important points, the key ideas of every paragraph. So whatever the first paragraph holds, you should write that down in your rough paper. Got it? Same you do with second paragraph, same you go on doing with all the paragraphs. So if you do that, now that would basically help you to locate your answers later on. So for example, if you've marked that first paragraph is about introduction to the topic and some important facts, nothing crude is nothing particular is given there which can be mentioned in any of the answers, so you can mark it there. Second, you found out that the challenges faced by the farmers in the country, so you just put down it as a rough point, as a key point. Paragraph number 3, measures taken by the government or steps by government. So just put it down on the rough piece of paper. Paragraph number 4, amended farm laws and its government's argument, government's intention. So that was given in paragraph number 4, let's say. So guys, do not expect that the answer for question number 1 will definitely you will find first, and then you will find the rest of the answers sequentially. Now please be ready for such a surprise. So you are in for surprise this time, guys, because he has to make a very difficult paper. I hope you do understand that, because he has to evaluate 13,000 students. So he needs a very a broad filtration system where most of the students would fail. So don't fall into that trap, right, guys? So mark each and every paragraph with the keywords, and then when you are solving the questions, it will be very easy for you to relate to the paragraph. So for example, if I'm finding about government intention, I know this was in 4th paragraph, so I can quickly jump to 4th paragraph and then read it again and then quickly draft my answer, right, in my own words. Got it, guys? So that's what you should remember, that you need to make you need to write important points of every paragraph as you go while you read the passage. Got it? Now there are some tips and questions that I wanted to discuss with you. Basically, I told you that there are two types of questions that are being thrown at you in the exam. First type of questions are inference based questions, guys. Now these are tricky ones and require the candidates to understand the passage carefully to answer them. So in such questions, a logical conclusion has to be made which perfectly fits that context and represents a particular fact aptly. So question based on inference reasoning can be, now in inference questions, candidates need to identify inference sources, that whatever has been mentioned in the passage by the author, you have to infer something from that particular sentence or particular sentences, and find out and understand the meaning, to read between the lines, basically what we call this. So to read between the lines and understand the meaning behind that particular sentence. That is inference based question. So for example, if he is given, if a question is given according to the according to the passage, what can you infer from this particular statement, or what can you infer from paragraph number 3? So if such a question is given to you, read that particular paragraph in context of the passage and then rephrase it in your own words. So guys, in inference questions, candidates need to identify inference sources and understand the context thoroughly. If a particular sentence is given, read the entire paragraph and check for particular clues. Answering these questions can be easy if the context and idea of the entire passage are properly understood. Absolutely, Pooja. You don't have to copy and paste. You have to frame your answers in your own words. That is, I think this should have been clear to you by now. If you still have this dilemma, that do you have to copy sentences from the passage? What would be the point? If he wanted you to find the facts, he would have just given you multiple choice questions, right? And second type of questions are, guys, paragraph and structure based questions. In RC section, questions might also be asked related to a particular paragraph or structure of the passage. These questions test the candidate's intuitive and logical sense. Some of the examples include the measures taken by the organization in the passage can be best described as. So he wants you to write, what do you think about the measures taken by the that particular organization in the passage? So what do you say about that? The second paragraph criticizes what, or the third paragraph describes what. So these are paragraph and structure based questions. So he may ask you to write down about a particular paragraph, about a particular issue that has been mentioned in the passage. So you should be ready for these type of questions as well. So to solve these questions, candidates are required to comprehend each passage properly and keep the key ideas in mind. It is suggested to pay attention to certain definite words like ironically, although, but, etc. These shape the idea of the passage and are extremely crucial to represent a particular passage. Yes, Niharika, you can answer your answer in bullet points, but only if required. Don't push it. Don't do it forcefully. Got it? So guys, this is the basic type of questions that are being thrown at you. So guys, without further ado, let's jump on to some reading comprehension and let's try to solve it. But as we told, we'll be training with reverse reading. So guys, read 3 questions which are given at the bottom of the screen, and then we will read the passage and try to find out our answers, right? So question number 1, discuss the current state of the Indian economy. So my keyword is current state of the Indian economy. That is my question number 1. Describe how the government plans to revive the economy. All right, government plans to revive the economy. That is my second keyword. So I have to find current state of the economy. Then I have to find the government plans to revive the economy. And third, discuss the purpose of the author to write this article. Right. So guys, have you read the questions carefully? So let's read the passage and let's try to find out what type of answers are they expecting out of you. Alright guys, let's read the passage from the beginning, and I'll take your doubts and questions at the end of the session, guys. Got it? Alright guys, India's economy is likely to grow 2.5 times to 7 trillion by 2030. From about 3 trillion now. So basically India's economy is likely to grow 2.5 times to 7 trillion by 2030 from about 3 trillion now, making India the world's third largest economy. This implies that nominal GDP growth is likely to average just over 10% through the next decade. Now, Dish Bank said in a research report, Imagine 2030. Now, the sharp slowdown in the recent years, despite Indian economy's promise over the last decade, is not indicative of what is in the store for the next decade, Deutsche Bank said. Now, despite its promise over the last decade, the Indian economy has slowed down sharply in the recent years. That has led some to predict the decade ahead will be one of lower growth and frustration, that India's enormous potential will yet again go unfulfilled, the report said. As far as India's economic growth is concerned, it may remain below potential in the near term. However, ongoing government measures will give major push to its potential in the future. Right? Now, for starters, to offset the demand slowdown, the government took the bold decision in September 2019 to meaningfully cut the corporate tax. So this is the first point for my second answer. Up till now, this was about question number 1. Whatever is the state of Indian economy, that is given in these I think these 3 paragraphs. Paragraph number 2, this one, paragraph number 3, paragraph number 4. Now, from paragraph number 5, I think we are looking at our answer for our second question. So what measures were taken by the government? For starters, to offset the demand slowdown, the government took the bold decision in September 2019 to meaningfully cut the corporate tax rate. This will likely incentivize greater foreign direct investment flow into the country and support private investment in the economy, which has remained weak over the last 8 years, the report said. Additionally, the Reserve Bank of India's decision to cut the key lending rate by 135 basis points in 2019 will revive growth. Right? The report said, apart from these stimulus measures, reforms initiated in the last few years should also improve the medium-term outlook, it added. Right? Now, as economies with significantly higher informal sector employment, such as India, with significantly higher informal sector employment, such as India, typically have lower per capita income. Policies which are aimed at the greater formalization of the economy should help to accelerate per capita income levels, the report said. Now, reforms such as demonetizations and rollout of goods and services tax are likely to play a major role in formalization of the economy and will bear fruits in the next decade. While demonetization has resulted in incentivizing a faster pace of digitization, GST, by the very nature of its design, will expedite formalization of the economy and will consequently improve the fiscal and growth dynamics of the country. Now, these were all the measures taken by the government. Now, demonetization and GST apart, India's bankruptcy law that came into force in 2017 will also help drive growth in the upcoming decade. Even the Reserve Bank's move to adopt inflation targeting and establish positive real interest rates in the economy will boost growth in the next decade. Right. So I think we can easily find so many answers for question number 2. But for question number 1, we have to, we have to think a lot. So guys, there's something what we call psychological elaboration. Right. So for my question number 1, I found all whatever has been given up till here, up till paragraph number 1, 2, 3, 4. That can be used for question number 1. But after paragraph number 5 and further, rest everything was based on, that was on question number 2. And the purpose of the author, that is inference based question. Right, guys? So, Swati, that such type of questions are not asked in this paper. They do not give you words and they want you to know the meaning. So that's not an, it's not a multiple choice question paper. It's a descriptive English paper. So please don't expect such type of questions there. Right. Shivam, I told you I would prefer first RC then Pressy. First RC then Pressy. So guys, are you ready to look at some answers? Shall we look at some answers? Let's see what type of answers should we frame in the actual paper. Yes guys, are you ready? Shall we look at some sample answers? So let's look at the answer written by some of the students, guys. For question number 1, the Indian economy, which is currently about 3 trillion economy, has been facing the sharpest slowdown in the recent years. Private investments have remained low for 8 years now. As far as economic growth is concerned, it might remain below par in the near future. The nominal GDP is likely to average just over 10% through the next decade. No, this was not required here. This is wrong. The Dutch Bank in its report Imagine 2030 has predicted that the decade ahead will be of lesser growth. Okay, this might lead to India's tremendous potential go in vain, leading to frustration. It may remain below potential in the near future as well. But ongoing government measures and Reserve Bank's moves will give it the required push to grow 2.5 times to 7 trillion by 2030. Right, guys? All right. Any information cannot be added into these answers, Saloni, from outside the passage. So they'll not ask you for your opinions or for your suggestions or for your ideas or for your solutions. Right? Whatever you have to answer on the basis of the information given in the premises only. Nothing beyond that. Got it? I told you day before yesterday, Anupam, you can watch that session. We have discussed all the previous year topics in that session. There were 5 topics and I've given that in the session that we took day before yesterday. So you can watch that and you can find the essay topics there. So for question number 2, which there was a lot of information about question number 2. So what are the government plans to revamp the economy? To begin with, in September 2019, the government took the bold decision to cut the corporate tax adequately. This move aims to attract more foreign direct investments in the future. Private investment, which remained low for the last 8 years, will be boosted. As an economy with significantly higher informal sector, India has low per capita income. Now, government policies which aim at greater formalization should help accelerate per capita income levels. This is where the rollout of GST and GST comes into play. By nature, GST will accelerate the economy and improve the fiscal and growth dynamics. Coupled with reforms like demonetization and India's bankruptcy law, the digitalization and faster growth rate will be ascertained in the future, taking India to 7 trillion by 2030 from the current 3 trillion mark, making it the world's third largest economy. That's how you collect your points from the passage and you present it in your own words. So guys, this is what we call elaboration, descriptive English. Got it, guys? I think it was to elaborate, you have to use certain words, Akash. So it was not necessary, but for elaboration, you need to sometimes put there something which is not even required. So guys, I think all of you have done your graduation, right? So let me ask you something very simple. If you're so worried about word limit, how many words did you write when you were writing your answers for 10 marks in your graduation exam? Do you remember that? You used to write at least more than 200 or 250 words for a 10-mark answer in your graduation. Now, why the shyness here, guys? Now, you remember how you elaborated your answer during your graduation. I'm not asking you to elaborate your answers like that here, but it should be elaborative. It should at least, make the evaluator understand that the student has the ability to elaborate. Guys, please read the handout which was given by SEBI carefully. Now, they specifically mentioned that they're looking for writing skills. What do they mean by writing skills? They need someone who can frame very well. Somebody who can read something and elaborate it. Right? This is something which we call psychological elaboration. I know pen paper seemed easy. But I think this now the times have changed, so we have to type our answers. Then there is something called psychological elaboration. And everybody understand this, guys. For example, I'll tell you what psychological elaboration means. For example, if there is a sentence given in this passage that the government has decided to infuse money into rural sector. So what I would do in my reading comprehension to elaborate it, I would make this into two sentences. By elaborating in my own way, that a momentous decision of supporting the rural economy or the poor economy has been taken by the government. Full stop. Under this decision, the government intends to provide financial support to the poor sector of the country. So I'm saying the same thing, but in my own words. So this is what we call psychological elaboration, guys. Got it? Uh, I don't remember, Preet. I think it was based on. I forgot. I don't remember now. Absolutely, Digital India. Futuristic predictions like India in 2030. If it is given in the passage, Mahalakshmi, then you have to mention it. If it is not given in the passage, you don't need to make anything up. Got it? Exactly, guys. And let's read answer number 3. So the answer for that question, what is the purpose of the author to write this passage? Now look at this one, guys. The author aims to bring to the forefront the current state of Indian economy, which despite a promising future in the last decade, stands on the face of sharp slowdown. A research report, Imagine 2030, states that Indian economy is just about 3 trillion now. However, this sharp slowdown does not indicate of what happens in the next 10 years. The government has taken adequate measures to tackle the situation. The cut in corporate rate tax will ensure greater investments from foreign direct investments and private sector. The rollout of GST will enable formalization of Indian economy, which was a must for an economy with higher informal sector. It will help accelerate per capita income level. Reforms like demonetization and India's bankruptcy law will help the digitalization, and faster growth rate will be ascertained in the future. Not to mention the support of the Reserve Bank of India by rate cutting its key lending rate by 135 basis points, which will revive growth and subsequently taking India to 7 trillion by 2030 from the current 3 trillion, making it the world's third largest economy. So basically, guys, you are again reframing the same thing, but in a different way. And now, guys, after you've written all these 3 answers, now if I ask you to write a précis of the whole passage, I think now it will be very easy for you to write down whatever you read in the passage within 150 words. So that's why I said, out of précis and reading comprehension, attempt reading comprehension first. So by the time you finish your reading comprehension answers, you will be somewhere ready with your précis in your head. Got it, guys? Absolutely, Bhavna, you have to kind of summarize the passage. That was the intent of the author. That is what he wanted to convey. So start with the author's aim, highlighting what was his aim to write this passage, and then give a brief summary of the passage. Right? That would be your answer to this question. Right? That depends on you, Asmita. If whichever topic that you have the most data and facts about, that should be the choice of your essay. And guys, please, no more questions now. I'll entertain all the questions at the end of the session, guys. Please, I won't be answering any more questions now. So guys, let's look at another student who wrote the answer for these 3 questions, and let's see what different approach could have been taken here. So this is another answer. So let's read this one. Discuss the current state of Indian economy. The current situation of the Indian economy is a little bit shaky because of the recent slowdown in the economy, which resulted in the reduction of the momentum of growth. But revival is on board, and for making India's third largest economy in the world, major reforms are needed. Now, this was unnecessary. He is asking about the current state of the economy. So you have to present only whatever is relevant to the question. However, some unprecedented and major schemes have been implemented, and many others still are. That was also not required here. Although Indian economy is in recovery mode, yet some rating agencies have stated some negative predictions about the Indian economy. So guys, this is basically adding your own opinion about something. Although Indian economy is in recovering mode, yet some rating agencies have stated some negative predictions about the Indian economy. They have not stating anything negative. They have only stated whatever is the data, whatever the data tells. So do not add your own opinion into your answers, guys. Please make sure that you do not do that. They stated that as Indian economy is not up to the mark as had been promised at the beginning of this decade, we assumed that as like this decade, next decade will also face slow pace of growth in India. Now this was nowhere given in the passage, guys. So do not put down your own opinions or your own assumptions into this particular answer, guys. That would lead to deduction of marks, right? But India is on track of revival. Many stimulus measures have been taken, not only by the government of India, but also by the RBI. Now, he is again trying to write the same thing over and over again. This will lead to deduction of marks, guys. Please do not expect that, sir, I wrote ample, but why did I not score good? Or why did I not score well? So the point would be, it has to be relevant as well. So whatever factual information, data, supporting examples were given in the passage, you must include everything in your own words to frame your answer. Got it, guys? That was a very poor answer according to me. Absolutely, that's an example of a bad answer, Niharika. I hope you can make it out now. For question number 2, the government is planning continuously the unprecedented steps to do the reform in the economy. You never do the reform, you make the reforms, right? For instance, demonetization and GST have been implemented, which are likely to play a major role in the revival of the economy. Okay, especially demonetization has come as a force of multiplier for digitization in the economy. Similarly, the Indian bankruptcy code and corporate tax cut are providing proper support to businesses in India, which ultimately boost the FDI inflow and augmenting the private investment in the economy. Okay. Additionally, the government should also implement some schemes to boost the informal sector in which most of Indian population is employed. Okay. Now, guys, this is again adding your own opinion. If it is given the government has decided to take some, steps to boost the informal sector. Now, if you write that government should also implement, that is your opinion. Do not change facts into your own opinions, guys. This is really not required. This will increase per capita income. Along with these, the RBI has also provided better money flow in the economy by reducing lending rates. Since 2019, the RBI has cut 135 basis points in lending rate, which is repairing the demand side slowdown. Also, inflation targeting has been adopted by the RBI, which will boost growth in the next decade. This was comparatively better than the first one. I mean, there were fewer mistakes and inclusion of everything in his own words has been done. So this was, I think, a better answer than the first one, but first one was really pathetic here. That's what I felt. Yes, Akansha, in question 1, you could have increased it by 10-20 words, right? And let's read question number 3, guys. The main purpose of the author is to describe the whole scenario of this decade as well as forecasting the performance of the upcoming decade by the Indian economy. Okay, he will also provide, now this is absolutely wrong, you should not do it this. He will also provide what the government of India is doing to augment. He will also provide, now this will absolutely throw your, he will be forced to throw your paper into garbage. He will consider that, okay, the student does not control his language. He is not, he is not practiced enough to, to write or to rephrase these answers. So don't make these mistakes. So you don't write he will also again and again. He will do this, he will do that. Only mention it once. The author's intention is to highlight the the recession which can be seen in the economy during the last decade, and the forecasting or the presumptions that have been made for the upcoming decade pertaining to Indian economy. Now, rest everything has to be written in third person perspective. The government of India has augmented all that and all that, in a third person perspective. Don't keep on repeating the same thing. He will also provide what the government of India is doing to augment the economy and how many great reforms have been implemented till now and how many of them are still required. He will also suggest some points which will provide a stable and healthy economic growth to achieve the target of becoming the third largest economy in the world by 2030. He started with providing positive forecast, but later he provided the negative facts. Now, why did he provide those facts? He was trying to prove his point to you. That is not his purpose of writing the letter, writing this passage. His purpose is something very different, to make you aware of the situation and the upcoming opportunities, right, of this decade, which halted the pace of economic growth of the Indian economy, but later suggesting some steps. He ended with positive notes. No, that's absolutely wrong, and said that despite facing many ups and downs in the recent years, India is regaining its potential and it might touch the 7 trillion economic output by 2030. Now he is giving his own views. Do not do that, guys. That was also a very poor answer, considering the requirement of the question. It does to an extent, Nitish, but what will have a better impact that we discussed day before yesterday is facts and data. Got it? All right, guys. So are you ready for another passage? Should we try another passage and then let's see what type of answer should be given? Yes, guys, are you ready? All right, guys. So let's go for it. Let's read the questions, and it's a big passage. So be careful this time what you need to do, right? So question number 1, discuss the effects of COVID-19 on Indian economy. Effects of COVID-19 on Indian economy, all right? Describe the plan of revival of the economy, okay? And briefly discuss the purpose of the author to write this article. Once again, same question. So we need to find out the effects of COVID-19 on Indian economy and plan of revival of the economy, right? So let's read the passage, guys. Let's start, guys. All right. Indian economy is now expected to see a faster turnaround given the impending rollout of vaccine, increased mobility, and less disruptions to business operations as the economy opens up. But a lot will also depend on the upcoming budget for 21-22 to steer its course. All right. India, which had in 2019 overtaken the UK to become the 5th largest economy in the world, was knocked off course somewhat due to the carnage that the pandemic and the ensuing strict lockdown unleashed. Businesses were shut, consumption slumped, and investments took a hit and jobs were lost. The combined effect being that the economy got relegated to the 6th post in 2020. All right. The budget for the next fiscal starting April 2021 that Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman will present a month from now will be the starting point for picking up the pieces after the economic destruction. All right. The government spending plans, particularly on infrastructure and social sectors, as well as relief to sections hit by the pandemic and lockdown, will dictate the pace of recovery, and analysts said. Let's read ahead, guys. India's economy had been losing momentum even ahead of the shock delivered by the COVID-19 crisis. The rate of GDP growth sank to more than a 10-year low of 4.2% in 2019, down from 6.1% the previous year. The pandemic brought a human and an economic catastrophe for India, with nearly 1.5 lakh deaths. Though the deaths per million are significantly lower than Europe and the US, the economic impact had been much more severe. GDP in April to June was 23.9% below its 2019 level, indicating that nearly a quarter of the country's economic activity was wiped out by the drying up of global demand and the collapse of the domestic demand that accompanied the series of strict national lockdowns. Now, and a 7.5% decline in GDP in the following quarter pushed Asia's 3rd largest economy into an unprecedented recession. As restrictions were gradually lifted, many parts of the economy were able to spring back into action, although output remains well below the pre-pandemic levels. All right. So up till here, I think I've found the answer for my question number 1. Now I'm looking for my answer for question number 2. While agriculture with bountiful harvest has been driver of India's economic recovery, the government stimulus spending in response to the COVID-19 crisis has been significantly more restrained than most other large economies. Sitaraman announced a total stimulus package of 29.87 lakh crore or 15% of GDP. That equals the total spending envisaged in the government's budget for the year to March. But the actual fiscal cost has been estimated at around 1.3% of GDP, including 0.7% of the incentive program whose expansion is spread over 5 years. Right? Now, most saw this spending as grossly inadequate. The limited cash spending was on account of the government not generating enough revenue to even pay states for their share of GST. Revenue collections were hurt by the lockdown. So that is another important point to be mentioned here. Now, yet high frequency indicators, including exports. Now, yet high frequency indicators, including exports, automobile sales, energy consumption, and manufacturing output, have shown an uptick, which some have seen as an indication of a V-shaped recovery. Now, rating agencies and analysts have raised their expectation of GDP growth in fiscal to March 2021, with the RBI predicting a small positive growth in the January to March quarter. According to Dun & Bradstreet, only 30% of the active businesses in India were still disrupted at the end of November 2020, compared to 95% in April 2020 when the nationwide lockdown was imposed. That could be added into, I think, first answer as well as in the second answer. Now, continued government support will be crucial to sustain and propel growth momentum, which has picked up, said Arun Singh, Global Chief Economist, Dun & Bradstreet. During the first 6 months of the fiscal year, April to October 2020, the government expenditure was 48.6% of its budgeted estimate. We expect the remaining budget expenditure to be spent with other off-budget spending. This, along with the execution of various policy initiatives, will propel growth momentum in second half of financial year 21. However, credit disbursement to the industry has not picked up yet, and this remains a cause of concern. Right? Now, this does not bode well for the industry at a time when the domestic demand has not yet stabilized and external demand remains weak, he said. Now, India Ratings and Research, INDRA, said policymaking is facing the twin challenge in collating reliable high-frequency data and interpreting the same as the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic is proving to be an unprecedented disaster. Right? So that is also a problematic situation for the country. An appropriate understanding based on reliable data is critical to ensure effective policy intervention. It said adding a low base in current fiscal will make even a moderate improvement in the first couple of quarters of the next financial year as a decent year-on-year growth. The projected GDP growth does not indicate the worst is over, but it still does not indicate whether the economy has recovered the lost ground and or surpassed it. It added, adding the economy will be able to just recover the lost ground in financial year 2022 and surpass the financial year 20 GDP level in a meaningful way only in financial year 2023. Got it, guys? Yes, you can provide approximation, Nitish. That's perfectly all right. You don't have to reiterate what the author describes. The author says that you should only start, in the first sentence, you should write, Mahalakshmi, that the author intends to say this. Absolutely, Mansi. Be ready for such type of para this time. He may ask you to make a preface for this, and he may ask you to write reading comprehension answers based on this, right? So guys, let's look at, so we read the whole passage in 6 minutes. Guys, I was looking at the watch this time. So we were able to read the whole passage very carefully, understanding everything and marking down all the important points. And we were able to read the whole passage in 6 minutes, right? So if I can do it online with you, even discussing whatever comes to my mind, so you can easily do it in 6 to 7 minutes, guys, right? And if you read carefully, you will have ample time to write your answers. Don't panic under pressure, guys. So let's look at the answers for these questions, guys. So for the first question was discuss the effects of COVID-19 on Indian economy, right? So let's read what the student has written. The Indian economy, which is currently about 3 trillion economy, has been facing the sharpest slowdown in the recent years. Private investment have remained low for 8 years now. As far as economic growth is concerned, it might remain below par in the near future. Okay. As far as economic growth is concerned, it might remain below par in the near future. The nominal GDP is likely to average just over 10% through the next decade. The Dutch Bank in its report Imagine 2030 has predicted. I think ये पिछले वाले का आ गया है कैसे? अरे यार ये तो गलत आ गया यार. नहीं, I think ये पिछले वाले का आंसर आ गया इसमें. Okay, let's look at this one, guys. Right? ये भी गलत आ गया है शायद. अरे नहीं नहीं, ये गलत आंसर्स आ गए guys. It is for first para, sir. हाँ, ये previous passage के आंसर आ गया, I think, right? All right, don't worry. So guys, let's take it as a homework. What do you say? So you can take this paragraph as an homework. So whatever you read, I'll provide you the PDF of this of this particular paragraph. So let's take it as a homework. So read it again and try to solve it in your own words. What do you say? I know repeated, I think it was गलती से शायद repeat हो गया, but I think we have understood how to draft our answers in our own words, right? So let's take it as a homework, and you can write down your answers, and we can then further see what has to be done here. Got it? All right, guys. Now you can ask any questions if you have regarding anything, be it essay, be it Pressy, be it reading comprehension, and let's brush up anything and everything that you feel like, right? Yes, I would provide the PDF, Vaishali. I would provide it in the PDF. That's what I said. I'll provide you the PDF of sample answers in the Telegram group. Got it? Arnab, I think in this paper you can score, I think up to 83 or 84. The highest I have seen anybody has scored in SEBI is 84. So you should aim for 85. Got it? Time management, Rupam, 17 to 18 minutes for your essay. Then 7 to 8 minutes to read your passage. Rest 10 minutes for your Pressy and 25 minutes for your reading comprehension. Got it? Rupam? No, it will not be considered a grammatical error, Abhishek. And you should mention schemes in your essay, by the way. 10% Akansha. So let's say if the word limit is 250, you can go up by 270, go up to 275, and you can stay up to 225 or 230. So 25 to 30 words above and below is perfectly all right in an essay, but try to be as close to the word limit as possible. Discuss question 2 answer of this passage. Shivansh, I'll provide you the sample answers with the PDF. Don't worry. Let's take some doubts. Tips for essay. Shruti, keep your essay factual, informative, full of data, facts, statistics, reports, schemes and measures taken by the government or any relevant example. So the more informative your essay is going to be, the better your score is going to be. Got it, Shruti? A 10-mark question should have at least 100 words, Faizan Khatri. it should have at least 100 words. For 10 marks, 100 words. For 8 marks, 80 words. For 5 marks, 50 words. Got it? So for 1 mark, you have to write 10 words. Guys, everyone please listen to this. For 1 mark, you have to write 10 words. Got it? Now Akash, he would have scored 21 or 22 out of 30. Abhishek, I've answered your question. No, it will not be considered a grammatical error. That's perfectly all right. Absolutely, Niharika, if it is important, if you feel that it is important to remember the percentage or data, then you should remember it. I think confirm the first paper is subject paper and second paper is English. I'm not sure, Vishali. I think it would be given in your roll number or admit card that which paper is going to be first and which paper is going to be second. I think you should read in your handout or admit card. Hi, my name is Phantom. Very good, Uma Shankar Jaiswal. Very good, Phantom. Very nice to meet you. क्या करते हो आजकल? मतलब कहाँ रहते हो? क्या? What are you up to these days, Mr. Phantom? 28 words per minute. That's more than enough, Nilesh here. 28 words per minute. That's more than enough. Who play Blockman Go? अच्छा, आगे भी लिखा है. बहुत अच्छा कर रहे हो यार आजकल तुम. No headline should be given in your paragraphs in your essay, Ashu. It should be only written in paragraphs. No titles should be given to paragraphs in an essay. 40 words per minute. I think you'll आग लगा दोगे जलपिन तुम तो यार कीबोर्ड पे. 40 words per minute is too good यार. Yes, you can exceed the word limit, but don't stay behind it. I mean, elaboration is required in reading comprehension. Okay. I have given the important essay topics, Abhishek. Please go watch that session. That is also given on YouTube. So you can watch that session. I have also given 40 tentative essay topics. So you can find important essay topics for that. It's more than good, yaar. Jalpin, kya hi puch rahe ho yaar? All right, Gaurav, don't worry. Just prepare facts, data, statistics, and frame a strategy to draft your essay in your head. If you do that, Gaurav, it will be okay. See, SEBI simple. There was a question. It's a sample paper, Supriya. How many time do I have to tell you? It was just a sample paper which was borrowed from NABARD. NABARD basically uses that sample paper for their handout. So SEBI just copied that sample paper from NABARD. Okay. So don't worry about those questions. Your questions will be descriptive, not fact based. Okay. Why not, Niharika? If let's say, okay, death rate is directly not related to economy, but if I say that more than 52% of the people in India, population in India is below 25, and if considering the number 63% population of India is below 35, that means India has a lot of young capital, right? India has a lot of young human capital, and that basically makes it related to economy. What do you say about this now, Niharika? No, if they're less than 150, 120, then it would be perfectly all right, Abhishek. But do not exceed the word limit. Do not exceed the word limit. Please make sure that you do not do that. Don't worry, Mansi, it will work out. Just look at the sample answers I've given you. That's how students write. And if you write in a decent way without mistakes, I think you stand a good chance. Okay. Yes, that is an inference based question. But Akansha, you cannot add your own knowledge or from your own experience or whatever you have read outside the passage cannot be included in the answer. Whatever you have read in the passage should be used to answer your questions based on your reading comprehension. Nothing from outside the passage. Got it? No, I know it is not important to connect everything with the economy. Don't do it forcefully. Yeah, if it is about climate change, you should not connect it with the economy. There's no point. But there are stakeholders, you can somewhere mention it in a sentence, but not necessarily, not a hard and fast rule. Decent vocabularies will do, Rupam, but your essay should be informative, to the point, without any mistake, and elaborative wherever required, and following the structure. So that is more important than fancy English words. Got it, Rupam? Intro, relevant facts and details and conclusion. That should be order of essay, right? Absolutely, Jalpan. Intro with the data and a fact. Intro with the data. Intro does not mean introduce the topic. Intro means start your essay with an eye-opening data. Then second example, follow through with the fact and then connect it with your essay. Then third paragraph should be about reports and statistics. Fourth paragraph should be about schemes launched by the government, and fifth paragraph should be about conclusion. Got it, Jalpin? Jalpin, please watch the video that we discussed on essay writing. So all your doubts will be cleared from there. Got it? Is it a rule? No, it's not a rule, Niharika, to write in one paragraph. In reading comprehension, you can make 2 paragraphs. You can make 3 short paragraphs. You can make bullet points if required. So there's no hard and fast rule that you have to write your answer within 1 paragraph in RC. Yes, Akansha, for a 250 word essay, make 5 paragraphs. That's how you will save your time. Keep it factual. Write less. Let your facts and data do the talking, do the bidding. Got it? All right. Anything else you guys you wish to ask, guys? So I will provide you with the sample answers. So please prepare and please take a lot of questions before you enter the exam. That will give you a mental, a mental benefit or mental advantage that you have already practiced reading the passages. Now you know how to rephrase the answers in your own words. Got it, guys? Impact of oil, coal industry, loss of jobs, economy, maybe. It may be connected, that's what I said, Biplab, but not necessarily everything has to be pushed towards the economic angle. If it is not required, don't do it. But if you feel like, that it actually has an impact on economy, then yes, you can connect it with the topic. That would be one good angle. And guys, I think everybody knows that NABARD, the result of NABARD came out today. And you won't believe how happy I am to see the results of my students. The highest score in descriptive English is this year is 79 in NABARD. And the student texted me and told me that, sir, I did not even enroll in your course, in your descriptive English course. I only watched your YouTube videos and they helped me a lot. And I am the topper. I am the rank 1 in India today because of the videos that you gave on YouTube. Guys, I'm not trying to say anything here. I'm just trying to convey to you how important these exams and these sessions would be for you. So don't worry, you're on the right track. Believe in yourself and just give your best, right? Don't make silly mistakes. Be careful, right? Keep it informative, keep it factual, and keep it really, a really well drafted attempt, right? ऑल राइट रॉकी ने बड़ी अच्छी रिक्वेस्ट किया सर, जल्दी सेशन ख़त्म कर दो, मुझे डबल स्पीड पे करके ये सेशन देखना है. तो रॉकी जी के लिए सेशन ख़त्म कर देते हैं यार. ठीक है, थैंक यू रॉकी फॉर द इनपुट. And guys, absolutely, Gaurav, I'll be looking, you're more than welcome to visit us whenever you want. And I'll be looking forward to all your attempts, guys. Do let me know how your exam went. 79 marks in NABARD. I mean, that's something here. NABARD, it's quite a reputed paper. Yes, Jalpin, please watch the sessions, and these sessions will help you. You have to omit statistics data from a Pressy. All right, I will join you in the interview. Very good, Pui Pui. Everybody should be there knowing each other that all of us are from EduTap, and that is the common strand, that is the common thing among us. So guys, it is my pleasure to have such brilliant students like you, and I wish you all the very best for all the future endeavors in your life, and specifically this one. I wish you all the very best for your exam. Don't be nervous. Be calm before you start writing an answer. Don't be worried what others are doing around you. Just focus on your attempt, focus on your strategy, go with it, and try not to panic. That's the last minute tip to you. And keep on collecting data. So what I would do on the last day, if you asked me, I would just Google interesting or important facts on economy of the country, on financial sector of the country, on rural economy, on current affairs, on Modi government, on anything that I find important. I would like to find important facts and data on the last day, and I would try to I would try to remember as many data as possible or as many facts as possible, which would be really intriguing for my essay. And if I do that, then comprehension and Prezi, it's all about practice. So if you follow this, I think it's quite easy to crack this paper, guys. Got it? So guys, all the best to each and every one of you. And I wish all of you that you come out with flying colors. Keep your fingers crossed, believe in God, believe in yourself, and make your parents proud, make yourself proud, and do make us proud, guys. And I'm counting on each and every one of you. So I think every one of you must be smiling right now and feeling something special inside you that yes, I can do this. Nobody can stop me and nobody is there to stop me. So if you have that confidence inside you, nobody will be able to stop you, not even time or circumstances. So be careful, be confident, be spontaneous, be lively. Give it your best. Don't worry about the outcome. Don't worry about the result. Enjoy the attempt. If you are going to enjoy whatever you write there, if you believe in whatever you write, now you will definitely score good marks, guys. Got it? It will not help, Rocky. Start with code, proceeding with data and facts. I would not follow this if you asked me, Rocky. I would start with an eye-opening data and then follow through with facts and statistics and reports. Got it, guys? So guys, I wish you again all the very best for this exam, and do let us know, do text us, do email us, do let us know how your exam went, how was the paper, how did it go, were you able to finish it on time or not, or what surprises you found there, or how was your experience. Do share that with us. We'll be more than happy to hear you, right guys? So guys, और मम्मी को बोलना कि जाने से पहले दही में थोड़ा चीनी भी डाल के खिलाए आपको, बिकॉज इट इज़ अ बिग अपॉर्चुनिटी, right? So don't lose it, don't miss out on anything. And that's it for this session, guys. Thank you so much for joining in. And this is our contact number if you wish to call us regarding anything. And this is our email address, hello@edutap.co.in. You can drop an email regarding anything that you wish. Got it, guys? So thank you so much. Take care. Bye bye. Good night. And I'll see you soon, guys.